Danko Jones is a Canadian rock band from Toronto, Canada. The band consists of Danko Jones, John J. C. Calabrese and Rich Knox. History. Formation formed in 1996, he played consistently for 2 years in and around the northeastern United States and Canada, opening for the New Bomb Turks, Nashville Pussy, Blonde Redhead, The Makeup, The Dirtbombs, The Chrome Cranks and The Demolition Doll Rods. Originally they did not even want to release an album, opting to have the band's live reputation spread via word of mouth. Eventually, the trio relented and put out a self-titled 6-song EP on Sonic Union Records in 1998. In 1999 they released the self-produced My Love Is Bold EP and achieved national exposure with the single Bounce. They were nominated for a Juno Award in 2000 for Best Alternative Album. In 2001 Bad Taste Records released a compilation of the band's early recordings, demos, and B-sides entitled, I'm Alive and on Fire. A 5-week European tour followed to promote the release, including shows at the Roskilde Festival in Denmark and Hultsfred Festival in Sweden. By the end of the year they had returned 2 more times, most notably as main support for the Backyard Babies. 2002, Born a Lion. In 2002 they released their first full-length album, Born a Lion, produced by Bill Bell, on Bad Taste Records in Europe and on Universal in Canada. The band did several European tours and 2 Canadian tours to promote the record, including a repeat performance at Roskilde and their now legendary return to Hultsfred, as well as notable stops to Pukkelpop in Belgium and the Lowlands Festival in the Netherlands. They also managed to grab the opening slot with the Rolling Stones on their 40 Licks World Tour kickoff show at the Palais Royal in Toronto, Ontario, Canada on August 16, 2002. 2003, We Sweat Blood. 2003 saw the release of We Sweat Blood, produced by Matt DiMatteo, and the group taking a heavier approach to their hard rock sound. More touring followed that included Europe and Japan. They were also nominated for 2 Junos, Best Rock Album and Best Video. While success was happening abroad, home relations with Universal Canada had soured and the band was dropped mid-album run. Explanations from the label were vague, but speculations point to Jones' February 2004 appearance on CBC Sunday, where Jones appeared as a pro-downloader opposite then CIA President, Brian Robertson. Getting dropped from Universal Canada did little to stop the group as they continued to tour heavily for the rest of the year well into 2004 with bands like Turbonegro, Sepultura and The Bronx. While touring they managed to pick up another Juno nomination for Best Rock Album and Tour Australia, as well as more European dates including Rock im Ring and Rock im Park in Germany and Download, Leeds and Reading in England. 2005-2006, Sleep is the Enemy. Early 2005 was taken up by recording the follow-up to We Sweat Blood, but not without a series of tours amidst recording that brought the band to the Netherlands, Germany and South Africa. In April, American label, Razor and Tie released We Sweat Blood and the band set out to America in support as well. Working 2 releases simultaneously on both sides of the Atlantic proved quite hard, and the worldwide release for the upcoming album, Sleep is the Enemy, produced by Matt DiMatteo, was pushed back to 2006. During the summer and fall of 2005 the band toured America heavily, with 2 of We Sweat Blood's singles being second most added to active rock radio in America. Stateside tours with Flogging Molly, Our Lady Peace, The Super Suckers, and The Noise Conspiracy followed. Prior to the release of Sleep is the Enemy, drummer Damon Richardson left the band, citing fatigue as a reason for leaving. He was replaced by Dan Cornelius. In January and February 2006, under new Canadian label, Aquarius Records, the band set out to do their first Canadian tour in almost 4 years, opening up for Nickelback. With the release of Sleep is the Enemy came more touring, including America and a headlining European club tour with support from Brandtjuk and the Brothers. The summer saw them perform at Rock im Ring, Rock im Park, with Full Force and Wacken Open Air in Germany. Hellfest and Furiefest in France, Metaltown in Sweden, Pinkpop and Lowlands in the Netherlands, Tusker Festival, Ruisrock and Anchorrock in Finland, Gampel in Switzerland and Wireless in the UK, among at least a dozen more. In October 2006, a two-week tour of Norway saw the band play with ex-Kiss frontman, John Garcia, who appeared on the song Invisible off Sleep Is the Enemy. 2008, Never Too Loud. Their fourth album, Never Too Loud, was released on February 27, 2008 and produced by Nick Raskulinecz. The album yielded three singles, Code of the Road followed by Take Me Home, and King of Magazines. A major city tour of Europe in April 2008 was followed by a Canadian tour in May and a three-month stint in Europe playing almost 30 dates on the festival circuit that included Rock am Ring, Rock im Park and With Full Force in Germany. Bospop and Lowlands in the Netherlands. Szeged Festival in Hungary. Rabarok in Estonia. Provincy Rock in Finland. And Eurocons and Hellfest in France, where Jones got to sing on stage with one of his favorite bands, Death Angel, for the song, Bored. In the fall-winter of 2008, Danko Jones toured England, Germany, France and Benelux opening for Motor Paragraph Red. 2009, B-Sides. On February 3, 2009, B-Sides was released in Europe only, a collection of previously released B-Sides from European singles and unreleased tracks that spanned 1996 to 2008. On February 24 they commenced a 7-week tour in support of the release that spanned the Netherlands, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Finland, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Belgium, France and the UK, with support coming from the Backyard Babies, Winnip Godiel and the Black Spiders. The CD yielded the singles Sugar High, and My Problems. A greatest hits compilation titled This Is Danko Jones was released on April 7 the same year in Canada only. In the summer the band managed a few festival appearances, most notably, the Szeged Festival in Hungary on the main stage with Faith No More and The Offspring, as well as Hunt and Pop in the Netherlands, Winterthur and Gampel Open Air in Switzerland, Parken Festival in Norway and Jurassic Rock in Finland. In January and February 2010 the band toured across Canada with Guns N' Roses and Sebastian Bach. In March the same year they toured the United States with Clutch. 2010, Below the Belt. Their fifth album Below the Belt was released on May 11, 2010 and produced by Matt DiMatteo. The album's first single, Full of Regret, features Elijah Wood, Lemmy Kilmister, Selma Blair and Mike Watt in the accompanying video, the first in the Ballad of Danko Jones. It debuted at number 36 on Billboard Mainstream Rock Tracks in November. It is also featured on EA's NHL 11 soundtrack. The second single, Had Enough, has Ralph Macchio appearing in the accompanying video, while Full of Regrets features Wood, Macchio, Gina Malone and Watt in the final installment of the music video trilogy. On June 8, 2011, Danko Jones announced on the band's website that drummer Dan Cornelius was no longer with the band. In the same statement, Danko Jones said Atom Willard had joined as a replacement. In a March 2012 question-and-answer session with fans on Twitter, Danko Jones said, Dan's time with the band had run its course, but it was completely mutual from both sides. An amicable split. 2012, Rock and Roll is Black and Blue. In early 2012 Danko Jones revealed the band was working on a new album, posting footage of the writing process on the band's YouTube channel. Jones said the album was likely to be out in the European fall. A 90-minute documentary about the band, entitled Bring on the Mountain, was released in June 2012. The 2-disc DVD also featured a short film based on the band's latest 3 videos, all their music videos and several live clips. An oral history book about the band, called Too Much Trouble, A Very Oral History of Danko Jones, is set to be released by ECW Press in October 2012. The title of the new album was revealed to be Rock and Roll is Black and Blue, and will be released on September 21, 2012 in Europe and October 9 in North America. It was announced that Danko Jones will hit the road for 2013's spring tour with Volbeat and Spoken. 2014-2015, Fire Music. On November 13, 2014, Danko Jones revealed the title of their 7th studio album, Fire Music. The album was the first to feature new drummer Rich Knox, and it was released on February 10, 2015 in Canada. In July 2015, The band announced a 9-day tour of the UK and Ireland scheduled for September, with support from the Amorettes. Radio, spoken word and columns. Jones hosted a syndicated radio show called The Magical World of Rock between 2003 and 2006. It was broadcast out of 95.3 Rocket FM in Stockholm and syndicated to Power 97 in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Pure Rock Radio in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, CT Das Radio in Bochum and Radio Tango in Oslo. He also released his first spoken word album in 2004 entitled The Magical World of Rock and completed 2 spoken word tours that same year, including a show at the Crossing Borders Festival in The Hague, Netherlands where he spoke alongside Nick Hornby, Ian MacKaye, Jim White, Michael Franti and Irvine Welsh. In 2012 Jones resumed doing spoken word in the form of lectures. He spoke at the Wacken Open Air Festival for 2 days, lecturing about the rock band Kiss. Danko Jones currently has a monthly column for Close Up magazine, Rock Zone magazine and a weekly column in the Huffington Post. He has also written columns for Rock Hard, Guitar for the Practicing Musician, Mute magazine, Rockstar magazine, L'Angola Cube Guitar Rock. Jones hosts a podcast called The Official Danko Jones Podcast, often co-hosted by his friend, comedian-singer, Nick Flanagan. Guests on the podcast have included Brendan Canning, Henry Rollins, Damian Abraham, Duff McKagan, Marty Friedman, Chris Jericho, Scott Thompson, Feist, Patrick Pentland, Wade McNeil, Lydia Criss, Harold Oyman, Jim Breyer, Ron Sexsmith and more. Discography Studio albums Born a Lion, We Sweat Blood, Sleep is the Enemy, Never Too Loud, Below the Belt, Rock and Roll is Black and Blue, Fire Music. Extended plays Danko Jones, My Love is Bold, Mouth to Mouth. Compilations I'm Alive and On Fire, B-sides, This is Danko Jones, Garage Rock. A collection of lost songs from 1996 to 1998. Honors, Juno Awards, 2004 nominated, Best Rock Album, 2003 nominated, Best Video, 2003 nominated, Best Rock Album, 2000 nominated, Best Alternative Album. See also: Canadian Rock, List of Canadian musicians, List of bands from Canada. References. External links. Official website, Danko Jones on Twitter, Danko Jones at the Internet Movie Database.